What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs just lost again to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 31-28 on Monday Night Football. I'm going to be reacting to all that and more right after this. You're not going to want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to another post-game breakdown here on Show Me Football. Before we get into things, I kindly want to ask everyone to please like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe as more Chiefs fans can find this. Really helps me out. And please go ahead and hit that notification bell as well for future Chiefs videos. So without further ado, let's get into things. Whew, boy, this one's going to be a doozy. Kansas City Chiefs fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're now 2-3 on the 2025 NFL season. And through 5 weeks of the NFL season, the Kansas City Chiefs have not had and still don't have a winning record. Now, if I told you guys before the season that the Kansas City Chiefs would have a losing record through 5 weeks, you'd call me crazy. You wouldn't believe me, right? And furthermore, you'd probably be pretty upset. You'd call that unacceptable, right? Especially after the way this team got the doors blown off of them in the Super Bowl. This was supposed to be the revenge year where they came out pissed off, ready to make a statement. And yet they have a losing record through 5 weeks. So, again, you guys agree that's unacceptable, right? Not a good place to be. Well, if you can agree with that, then we can find some common ground, and therefore I shouldn't receive too much pushback for the things I'm about to say in this video. Because I'll just be completely honest with you guys. If you came here for sunshine and rainbows after that game, you're not going to find it here. So this is your disclaimer now. This is going to be a little bit of a rant. And the reason that I have to kind of make a disclaimer is because, well, in the most recent video I made leading up to this game, I had commenters saying that I'm too negative, that I'm a bad fan for suggesting that the win over the lowly Baltimore Ravens, who, by the way, just got blown out by the Houston Texans, the lowly Houston Texans. You know, I suggested after that game that maybe we should slow down on declaring that everything is fixed for this Chiefs team and that we should wait to see it again against a legit opponent. I was called too negative for pointing that out. You guys there yet? You guys agree with me yet? This is a bad football team right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are a bad football team right now that don't have an impressive win. Their only wins are against the terrible, no good, very bad Baltimore Ravens and the Russell Wilson led before he got benched New York Giants, where the offense still didn't look good in that game either. Every legit opponent that the Chiefs have gone up against this year, they've lost. They've got outsmarted, they've gotten outcoached, they've gotten outplayed, they've gotten out-executed. And that's what continuously happens, to bad football teams, because the Kansas City Chiefs are exactly that right now. And trust me, it's really unfortunate that I have to come on here and talk about a loss, because this loss unfortunately overshadows, a lot of positive things that we saw from this game. I promise you guys, I really do. I'm not making this up. If the Chiefs had found a way to win this game, no matter how ugly, I would have been overwhelmingly positive, because I thought we saw a lot of good things. And I thought the offense, outside of a couple execution issues, was once again pretty good in this game against a legit defense this time. A Jacksonville Jaguars defense that, coming into this game, was one of the best defenses in the league. Now, some of that has to do with the competition they've gone up against so far, but they lead the league in takeaways. And you can see it's no fluke at this point. They forced another one tonight. Patrick Mahomes was totally fooled on that red zone interception. And that's one of the biggest reasons that the Chiefs lost this game, because you can't have that from your best player. And we'll definitely be talking about that in this video. But I suppose I'll get the positives out of the way first before we get into the ranty stuff, because yeah, there's just going to be a lot more on that. But, you know, I thought, again, the offense looked good outside of the execution errors. I thought Kingsley and Simmons, again, looked good on the left side of that line. I think they make strides every week. I think Nick Bolton showed why he made his money in this game. That's a contract that I criticized in the offseason, but man, he made some heads-up plays in this game that gave the Chiefs a chance to win. I thought Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in the running game looked good for once this year. The running backs were an overwhelming positive. And Isaiah Pacheco had multiple runs of 10 yards or more. I've been extremely tough on Isaiah Pacheco. You guys know that. Kareem Hunt had his longest run in years. In fact, he had the longest run by a Chiefs running back since Isaiah Pacheco's 47-yard touchdown versus the Jets in 2023. Pacheco had his longest run in over 400 days. Like, that's good. And unfortunately, it's a wasted performance. Unfortunately, it's a word you're going to hear me say a lot in this video. I thought McDuffie was fantastic. And if the Chiefs had found a way to win this game, he would have been labeled as the hero, I think, for that turnover that he forced when the Chiefs really needed to come up with the stop on a night where the defense otherwise couldn't really get any stops. Jaden Hicks, I thought, looked really good in this game. And at one point looked like he was going to lead a good defensive effort. And then the defense just kind of collapsed after that. But again, that's what we're going to get into in this video. But everything really started to go downhill as soon as Drew Tranquill ran into Nick Bolton as he was about to intercept the pass. The Kansas City Chiefs were up by 14 points in this game, up 14-0. They were driving. Looked like they were about to go up 21-0. Okay, offensive drive stalls out. They had to give it back to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's driving. And the Chiefs look like they're about to get off the field. And then Nick Bolton looks like he's about to get an interception. And Drew Tranquill runs into him selfishly. And I like Drew Tranquill. And this is no disrespect. I thought that was an extremely selfish play by Drew Tranquill. When he saw his teammate, I mean, the ball was right here in front of Nick Bolton, about to intercept it. And Drew Tranquill, for some reason, jumps in, runs into his teammate, and tries to get the interception for himself. He just couldn't help himself. I thought that was extremely selfish. He should know better there. If he doesn't do that, the Chiefs get the ball back on offense, and who knows what happens. Maybe they're able to go up by even more in this game. Just, there's no doubt. And then the execution on offense ended up declining after that. You saw the Chiefs not able to put together a drive at the end of the half. Then they got the ball back to start the second half. They went 3 and out. Offense got lazy because as soon as the Jaguars scored 21 unanswered, all of a sudden it felt like the Kansas City Chiefs were trying to get it all back in one play or get it all back in one drive. And they abandoned the run a little bit. And Mahomes was just looking deep on every single play. That's not where you want to be on offense. The Chiefs were just digging themselves into a hole. And yeah, things just started to go downhill. And you know, I want to call this probably the worst regular season loss of the Patrick Mahomes era because it was just so self-inflicted. They had this game in the bag. The Jaguars, they were dominating the Jaguars in this game, guys. Statistically, the Chiefs dominated in almost every single category. They had 476 yards of offense, 318 passing yards by Patrick Mahomes, 158 rushing yards as a team. They averaged 7.6 yards per play. At one point in this game, the Chiefs were averaging over 10 yards per play. That's unstoppable stuff right there. And that's why, again, it's so frustrating that the Kansas City Chiefs did not win this game because I thought the offense looked extremely impressive in the first half early on. I thought it was going to be another good performance to build off of going forward. Brashard Smith was another positive. Like, that guy's starting to get mixed in more. That guy's like a wind-up toy. You just wind him up and let him go, and he just has a lot of juice, but it's all overshadowed by the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs were not able to pull this out, and they choked this game away. Just an epic collapse. And unfortunately, again, you hear that word again, this is what bad teams do. This is what bad football teams do. Exactly the stuff that the Kansas City Chiefs are doing right now. For so long, the Kansas City Chiefs have gotten away with winning so many of these one-score games, and it's just not sustainable football. At some point, you have to step on the neck of your opponent and put these guys away when you have the opportunity, because then you open the door. You leave the door open for this type of stuff happening. And as you can see, this Chiefs team, unfortunately, again, is weaker than they've been in years past. And so they're just not as capable of winning these one-score games. The defense is worse. The offense still has kinks to figure out. And so when you don't have an elite defense to lean on anymore, it's going to be a lot harder to win these one-score games. Last year, the Chiefs defense was able to come up with a lot of clutch stops to end these games. Not so much this year. Special teams has also been a disaster, and that's what's causing the Chiefs to lose these games as well. And let's just get into the rant, man. Let's get into it. Dave Toub, because he's one of the biggest reasons the Chiefs lost tonight, felt like there was a flag on damn near every return in this game. And Dave Toub seems to have extremely good PR, because every time you listen to the broadcast for these games, the commentators consistently praise Dave Toub for good special teams. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, am I the only one watching these games for the past, 5 to 7 years? Because Dave Toub's special teams are always awful and undisciplined. And my God, were they awful and undisciplined in this game. And what really sucks is I think the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes were about to go out and have a game-winning drive or a game-tying drive. I thought Mahomes was going to set up a field goal to at least take this thing to overtime because he had 23 seconds left. We've seen him do it with less time than that before. And Brashard Smith actually had a solid return. And then a Dave Toub special teams player once again gets a flag that puts them 15 yards back from there. Just inexcusable stuff. Jack Cochran was a repeat offender in this game on special teams and brought back a big return. Man, and seeing that stuff pisses me off because you know what? Dave Toub every year gets a handful of roster spots reserved for him to pick guys out that he likes on his special teams units. Jack Cochran is a guy that is never going to see the field on defense unless there's a bunch of injuries or unless it's on special teams. And I see him out there on special teams, and he is consistently wiping out big returns for this team, getting stupid penalties. I'm sorry, get Jack Cochran all the way out of here. Get him. I don't want to see him on the field. I don't want to see him on this team. He should lose his roster spot. He should, because you're only on this team really for special teams. And if you're the one that's consistently holding this team back on special teams, you shouldn't be here. And Dave Toub knows better than that. Or does he? I don't know, because we've seen this for way too long. And then to cap everything off, Harrison Butker kicks the ball out of bounds to the Jaguars and gives them the ball at the 40-yard line. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You have one job in that scenario. Just kick it down the middle of the field and force them to try and make a return. But don't give them the ball automatically at the 40-yard line. Holy cow. Harrison Butker's been a huge problem this year and continues to be a problem. He makes way too much money to be doing that stuff. Dave Toub makes way too much money to not know better and to not coach his players to be better on special teams. Best special teams coordinator in the league, my ass. I'm sorry. We've seen this stuff way too much from this team. Extremely undisciplined. And I really think the word undisciplined is just kind of the theme of the night for this Kansas City Chiefs team. Just the lack of execution. This team is executing at like a third grade level right now. Like, that's what you have to call it. The Patrick Mahomes turnover in the red zone, you can't have it from your best player. That was what really flipped this game in the Jaguars' direction, because that resulted in a 99-yard pick six for the Jaguars. And again, it's unfortunate. I'm saying it again because I thought the offense moved the ball really well. They got a lot of guys involved. Hollywood has really come on as of recently. A lot of players on this offense are coming on. Tyquan Thornton was great yet again tonight, and it's all just wasted. It's all wasted. And I think this team is slowly starting to realize that you just can't screw around anymore, because this team, the top-end talent, is not bailing this team out the way that it has in years past. Guys like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Chris Jones have kind of slightly declined, as opposed to where they were 5 years ago. And I don't think that's a hot take. Like, I know people are going to kind of, get wide-eyed when I say that, but let's just be real. Like, the high-end talent on this team isn't bailing you out anymore, which means those Brett Veach draft picks and those free agent signings mean a little bit more because they're no longer masked by, your Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, you just need more out of this team. And you saw Patrick Mahomes tonight, again, just with that dejected look. Like, what more can I do? And he's not without blame in this game. Don't get me wrong. Like, you just can't have that kind of turnover from your best player. But, man, where was the Chiefs defense tonight? Steve Spagnuolo got pantsed again. The defensive line is an absolute joke. And that's one of the things that really pisses me off as well, because this is something I've called out since before the season, that the defensive line just doesn't have enough juice. And granted, they were without Omar Norman Lott tonight, who got hurt in practice late in the week before this game. But this defensive line, like, there's no pass rush tonight. Trevor Lawrence had all day. This is a sorry pass rush. And I said it wouldn't matter as long as Spags fielded a good defense, because unfortunately this is just the way the pass rush has always kind of been under Spags, but the Chiefs have still had some good defenses. Well, this defense really has not been good. And a lot of it is because the pass rush cannot get to the quarterback. And not only that, but there was no rush lane integrity either. Like, Trevor Lawrence several times just had a wide open lane to run, either for a first down or a touchdown, because the Chiefs had no gap discipline whatsoever. And then that last play, or the last touchdown, my God, by the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence fell down and the defensive line just stood there. No one could get to him. And then after they realized that they still needed to tackle him, nobody could tackle him. Missed tackles, terrible pursuit angles. Like, this defensive line sucks. This defensive line sucks. George Karlaftis makes way too much money to not get a lick of pressure. Chris Jones, he's been double teamed a lot. Tonight, actually, he was double teamed more than any other game this season. And that just goes to show, you don't have enough at the edge position. You just don't have enough on the defensive line. There's no one on this line that's a real threat to get quick pressure on the quarterback, and it is killing this team. And then on top of that, the Chiefs defensive backs have, and I've said this for years, they have the worst ball skills. They have to have the worst ball skills in the entire league. How many times were the Chiefs DBs in perfect position to make a play on the ball and just completely lose track of the ball, don't even get a hand on it, or just do something stupid? They run into the Jaguars receivers. Like, there was the big catch by, why is he blanking? Travis Hunter. There's a huge catch by Travis Hunter there, down like 40 yards down the field. It was Brian Cook, I believe, and Shamari Connor in coverage. And like, both of them are there, like within the vicinity to make a play on the ball. And Shamari Connor's like running face first into, why am I forgetting his name again? Travis Hunter. Like, what are you doing? Like, these DBs have zero ball skills, and it drives me absolutely insane. Even the last drive from the Jacksonville Jaguars in regulation, before they scored their go-ahead touchdown, there was the play to Brian Thomas Jr. down the sideline. Jalen Watson is right there, literally right there. The ball is right here, and he cannot make a play on the ball. Like, the Chiefs need to start running some ball skills drills in practice, because this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. This is just an undisciplined team. They're a poorly coached team. The execution is just not there. And unfortunately, that's why the Chiefs have a losing record. And it only gets worse after this, because the Kansas City Chiefs have the Detroit Lions coming to town next. And if you don't win that game and this team falls to 2-4, man, I don't know. Like, this schedule really does not get all that easier. You do play the Raiders in 2 weeks, so that'll kind of give you some relief, I guess. But I mean, here's this. I don't think you can look at any game on the schedule and call it an automatic win for the Chiefs the way that they're executing right now. And that's just the reality, man. This is a bad football team right now. And to lose this game, it was inexcusable. This was an inexcusable loss to a team that was clearly inferior to Kansas City. And they just choked it away. And in my opinion, it's probably the worst regular season loss of the Patrick Mahomes era. You just can't have it. So those are my thoughts on the Chiefs 31-28 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not a lot of positive thoughts right now for me, unfortunately, guys. I don't know how you could have positive thoughts. And you know what? I'm just going to say it one more time, because I'm tired of walking on eggshells with you guys. I don't care. Yes, I'm being negative right now because the Chiefs are performing at an F- level, and there's a lot of problems with this team, and they have the Detroit Lions coming to town, and they have a losing record, and they're a bad football team right now, guys. So yeah, I am being negative because there's a lot of things wrong with this team. And from what I've seen so far through 5 weeks, the Chiefs are not a Super Bowl contender. Doesn't mean they can't be. Doesn't mean that their issues cannot be fixed. Like, obviously they can be, but right now, 5 weeks through the NFL season, the Chiefs are bad. They're not a Super Bowl contender. So those are my thoughts on the Chiefs 31-28 loss. Say what you will in the comments. I don't care. Those are my raw, unfiltered thoughts. But all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. Follow the Twitter at showmefb. And last but not least, go get your W. Go get your W energy. 10% off with my discount code in the description. Tastes absolutely fantastic. Coffee fruit extract, the main ingredient. So you don't have the same jitter or crash as you get with other caffeinated energy drinks. They've been partnered with me all football season long. They'll continue to be partnered with me. And man, I'm going to need some W energy after this one. So yeah, I'll go ahead and end it there. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.